A with our first best of 3.
Yes, our first best of 3 of Group A, and our last for tonight's group stage, at least for the Oceania region. Kicking it off once again on Inside and Out in the top right-hand corner map, swinging all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of the UK, representing New Zealand. He is currently teamless. He is RiSky.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Inside and Out, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player himself representing the Juggernauts. It is MeomaikA.
The reigning champion of DreamHack Oceania / rest of Asia.
Yeah, that's something that, I mean, that's the thing with this current year of DreamHack. Of course, there are 2 seasons instead of 3, so there's a longer period in between Valencia and Atlanta. So some people may not remember, but MeomaikA is the reigning champ. He is the Oceania representative of Valencia, and he had an insane showing last season.
He really did. I mean, he made it all the way to... Well, he made it past the knockout bracket and made it into... Was it the playoffs? It wasn't quite the playoffs yet. I'm just trying to remember the format that we had for DreamHack Valencia.
Oh yeah, it was a big format. It was long.
Oh yeah,
it was crazy. It was crazy. But MeomaikA, he had a pretty good showing, I want to say, in DreamHack Valencia at that offline event.
Yeah, he definitely made a lot of new fans going on there. He played against Harvstem and Vindicta and players of the like. A lot of new eyes on him there. Yeah,
he took a lot of big names down, and I think he was able to really gain the respect of a lot of the international scene. But now he is back here. Time has passed. MeomaikA, I'm sure he has been keeping up when it comes to practice. But he's here in a ZVZ, and ZVZs can be a little bit different. We did already see in the openers, MeomaikA did open up with a pool first. More of a safety pool first, though. It is typically how MeomaikA approaches this, just testing the waters, making sure that his opponent isn't doing anything crazy.
Yeah, crazy like opening up standard.
Ooh.
Nice controlling the drones over here, actually. I think one of the drones killed a Ling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the end, MeomaikA traded a little bit better there. He was able to kill 2 Lings and lost only 1. But of course, MeomaikA also went for a less economic opener, delaying his hatchery a little bit. So there's a bit of a give and take going on here, as RiSky is doing everything pretty normal here, even taking his 3rd.
Yeah, that's something that MeomaikA will scout pretty much immediately.
Yes, the Overlord does have eyes on that 3rd base. He also has eyes on the Baneling Nest, so he knows that RiSky isn't cutting any corners. He's just opening up as standard as can be. MeomaikA, it's now his turn to respond, and he's responding by staying on 2 bases. He's moving out with his queens. His goal here is to, with these queens, take down any Overlords and deny the vision and the scouting of RiSky as best he can.
Yeah, not something you see too often, but something you see pretty much every time with MeomaikA in a ZVZ. 2 Lings will slip in here for RiSky, and they get full eyes on just about everything Meo's doing.
Yeah, and this is a pretty important scout. He confirms the tech, or the lack of tech. He confirms the lower drone can as well here at the natural base. Ooh, sneaks those two Lings in, though, and he's morphing in some Banelings.
That's actually going to be huge. Not only because 2 Banelings can decimate a mineral line if they connect well enough, but also because RiSky's going to need to keep his eyes on this Roach Warren MeomaikA's getting. And Banes are a great way of scouting it.
Speaking of getting eyes, it looks like MeomaikA doesn't look at his main base. 8 workers are going to go down. At the same time, we have defensive banelings here for RiSky. RiSky, he is going to be able to hold on to his base. We do have an offensive mine here for MeomaikA, but it is not going to be enough. MeomaikA's forced back, and now he's in a pretty precarious position. He's down in workers, he's down a base, and he's just flooding Lings across the map.
Yeah, well, he knows that it's a little too late for him to try to re-drone or to get another base out right now. He's just trying to reciprocate whatever damage RiSky did to him with those 2 Banes as much as possible before transitioning out.
Yeah, exactly. But Roaches are on the way here as well. MeomaikA does not intend to drone. He's going to go for a follow-up Roach push, which can work well. Don't get us wrong, but he takes another Baneling to the face.
Yeah, really good use of the shrubbery over there that blocks the vision here for RiSky.
Yeah, and MeomaikA's forced all the way back. This is an important scout as well. RiSky, he confirms that Roaches are coming out. He also confirms that there is no 3rd base, so he knows MeomaikA is pretty all in with his push. RiSky just has to defend. He also can, if he wants to, give up this 3rd base.
Yeah, I mean, he's already up in the worker count. He can lose the base and still be ahead economically. Be able to produce more and more roaches as well. The defender's advantage for RiSky is going to be absolutely huge. He's already has a bit of a choke point by his natural base. MeomaikA is going to have to do something huge if he wants to break this position of RiSky.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, MeomaikA does have a decent roach count here. He is ahead in the army supply, don't get us wrong, but a lot of this is also going to come down to how good these baneling connections are going to be. Both players are relying heavily here on Lings. RiSky more so than MeomaikA.
Yeah, I mean, they're just waiting for the Lings of the other player to be expended and for the roaches to be just a little bit too exposed to get surrounded. Yeah, exactly. MeomaikA does split his Lings off, and he actually picks up a couple of roaches before they enter the fight.
Yeah, very nice trades. The banelings roll on forward. They get wasted from the side of RiSky. At the same time, the banelings of MeomaikA are also going down. The Lings are waiting for the moment. Ooh, good baneling connection there for MeomaikA.
But is it good enough? Because MeomaikA now has 0 banelings left, at least with the standing army. It's Lings and roaches versus Lings and roaches.
Yeah, but you know what, MeomaikA, he's slowly breaking on through. Again, those baneling connections were exactly what MeomaikA needed. He breaks into the natural base. We have a couple of spine crawlers being thrown down. The boys are being pulled here from RiSky, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, it feels like it's too little too late at this point. MeomaikA somehow kept that third alive, or RiSky somehow kept that third alive, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to matter too much in the end. This was the reciprocating damage MeomaikA needed. He's going to need a little bit more than that, but he gets it. GG. MeomaikA takes game number 1.
Wow, I am a little bit shocked. MeomaikA was forced all in, and RiSky had all eyes on this, by the way. He knew exactly what was happening. He had full vision of the state of MeomaikA, and he was preparing himself defensively. But you could argue that he should have thrown down some spine crawlers a little bit sooner. They were a very late reaction. Again, I'm sure he was hoping that his Ling Bane detonations were going to be a little bit better. Meanwhile, MeomaikA was just doing a great job at zoning out that army and picking off so many roach reinforcements.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened there. Could have put it better myself. And I do definitely agree that... hold on a sec, let me just plunk this in the chat. I do definitely agree that it felt like RiSky had everything he needed, but there were a couple of times where, I don't know, maybe he was fighting outside of range of his defenses.
Yeah, maybe just not taking the best, like, positional engagements on the bottom of the ramp, you know, he wasn't using his defender's advantage, his high ground on that ramp, for example, or his queens. It was a bit of a haphazard defense, but I guess that's why I have to praise MeomaikA, right? He forced a couple of mistakes. He was able to outposition his opponent very well there.
He absolutely was, and with that, we're going into game number 2. Players are ready. Let's not hold this up. It's going to be a very different map this time.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be getting into a bit of a larger map here. One of the larger maps in the map pool. We are going to be loading into Cosmic Sapphire. Oh boy, it's one of those things where, like, mate, you can never count MeomaikA out. It's crazy. Like I now remember, like, whenever I'm casting with some of the other ANZ casters, every single time it's like, look, you can believe something about MeomaikA, but you can't trust it. Like, you never know with this guy. he can do anything, mate. He can do anything.
Everything you remember about MeomaikA is a false memory he's implanted in you.
Exactly. Oh god, he can just play StarCraft like no other, and there is a reason why he's the reigning Oceanic champion here. RiSky, another returning player, hasn't been very active at all in the scene, is coming back. So far, a decent run in DreamHack, but can he go further?
Well, let's find out as we load into game number 2 on Cosmic Sapphire. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, fighting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We have a Blue Zerg player coming down from the land of Vietnam, currently fighting through a typhoon to play here. Representing the Juggernauts, he is MeomaikA.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the Red Zerg player himself, currently teamless. It is RiSky.
Once again, for safety pool.
Yeah, going for another pool first opener. MeomaikA is, again, as we saw last game, not to be overly aggressive, just more of a safety precaution than anything. It does put him a little bit behind economically, but we saw even last game he was very behind economically as he was forced all in, but it didn't even matter.
Yeah, somehow does better when he is behind economically.
The pressure helps him.
Which kind of makes sense. I mean, he did say that he idolizes Dark more than any other player.
He does, and it makes sense. Dark, another top-tier player who kind of plays his own way, has his own style, laughs in the face of the meta, and just is able to succeed doing his own thing. Meanwhile, from the side of RiSky, just a hatch, a gas, and a pool.
Yeah, which I was gonna say you can get away with a bit more on Cosmic Sapphire, but he did also get away pretty well with hatch, gas, pool in game number 1. It's just the follow-up didn't quite go his way.
Yeah, for those wondering, the rush distance on Inside and Out is quite short. Not the shortest by any means, but quite short indeed. A little bit longer on a map like Cosmic Sapphire, so going for a 2-base all-in, we have to favor the defending player even more so than on the previous map. In a way, the rush distance is longer, but the natural is a little bit more exposed because there is no ramp, so your defender's advantage is a little bit weaker. But at the same time, there's also more of a choke point here, so it's multiple factors coming into play.
There definitely are. Plus, we've seen a couple of times in the past, it's not too common, but we have seen a couple of times in the past where Zerg players who go for a 2-base all-in ZVZ just prefer to get a Nidus to pop out right outside the natural to avoid that all.
Yeah, that has happened in the past as well. But for the time being, we're just droning up from here. I'm sure RiSky is soon to be taking his own third base, just like the previous game, just fanning out a couple of lanes, just getting an eye on the map, getting a feel for what MeomaikA is up to, because, again, it's so important to scout this Zerg player specifically.
So here's a fun fact, Light. MeomaikA is currently researching metabolic boosts and has not made a single ling yet.
Yeah, oh my god, looking at that's crazy. Also, very nice body blocking there. MeomaikA was able to deny the scout there of RiSky. We are skipping the Baneling Nest, we are not going for a third base, but likewise, RiSky is also going for a 2-base opener as well.
Yeah, both players really willing to slow the game down and go into those roach wars, which really favor positional play more so than quick reactions and splitting. RiSky, very important. He scouted this massive flood of lings, and he's gonna have to be preparing back home because Meo is not waiting. Does not want to wait at all for his roaches to finish up.
Exactly. He's also able to scout the roach warren. I love it, by the way. MeomaikA, because he knows that his links got scouted, MeomaikA is droning and taking a third base instead, so he's not going for a massive roach push behind this, despite the fact that, of course, his roach warren is much faster.
Yeah, he forced RiSky to be contained on 2 bases in a very precarious defensive position, which is completely fine. But MeomaikA is going to be advantaged economically because he was so quick to grab his third base. A third base which I want to say RiSky got the tail end off. Yep.
Yes.
He scouted it.
Yeah, thankfully RiSky was able to confirm the third. He will lose the Overlord here as MeomaikA is going to be denying even more vision. So now RiSky won't know if MeomaikA even saturates this third. To be fair, MeomaikA should, because it is one of his advantages that he has this game, containing RiSky to 2 bases. So MeomaikA can take that third. But what is he going to do with that advantage?
I think you have that backwards a little bit. MeomaikA has an advantage if he did that, which is why he shouldn't do that. Why he shouldn't be doing that.
True. You know, again, it's one of MeomaikA plays better from behind sometimes. But yeah, we do see, I love this from RiSky. He does have a Roach Force, he's breaking out. He's revealing that he's getting Roach Speed, by the way, to MeomaikA. But little does MeomaikA know that RiSky has taken all of his gases and he is going for a Spire.
Yeah, that's one advantage of being contained. You may be behind a little bit economically, but there's no way if your opponent of breaking in so you can really hide the tech, as RiSky demonstrates here.
Exactly. Meanwhile, MeomaikA is none the wiser. He hasn't taken his 4th gas. He's just working on just droning. We have a 4th gas being taken now here at the 3rd. Interesting. I kind of do like this. So he will be having the option to tech up even further if he so wishes. For the time being, though, he is just pumping out roaches, and the Spire, it's going to finish.
And I still don't see a single spore here from MeomaikA. Like, I see a handful of queens and not any other anti-air. Unless he gets really lucky with Corrosive Vials, which shouldn't be.
Oh, exactly. We only have 3 queens here for MeomaikA. Not much anti-air at all. It looks like MeomaikA is setting himself up for a bit of a roach push, a timing with +1, which can hit quite well. But can he get more damage done, though? Because as time goes on, RiSky, he's going to get more and more mutas. Actually, he only gets a handful. He only gets 5.
Huh. Well, I think he scouted the roach push coming out, which is... so only getting a handful of mutas to go around and harass while getting roaches yourself to defend against the push is ideal. But he's still a little bit disadvantaged in that roach count. MeomaikA is jumping right on top of that exposed third base and chasing down all of these vulnerable roaches wherever he can.
I don't know if it's the wisest choice for these mutas to be across the map. I mean, I guess they're going to deal some economic damage, but the roach count is heavily in favor of MeomaikA. He is going to be able to break on through. He's going to be able to break into the natural.
Yeah, and once again, MeomaikA is forcing a fight outside of Spine Crawler range. Gets a beautiful concave on top of all the roaches of RiSky. He takes out the Roach Warren of RiSky as well, which complicates things even further. A couple of Spore Crawlers were thrown down back at home for MeomaikA, but he still has to be a little bit careful. He does not want to fight within range of those Spine Crawlers.
I mean, mate, the muta count was reset. Like, all 5 mutas died across the map. Like, they actually did nothing. They picked off 1 queen, I guess. Meanwhile, the roach count is going to be pushed back, but MeomaikA behind this has been droning. He is ahead in the economy. He almost takes down the 3rd. He doesn't have to commit here, by the way, but he's going to pick off a couple more roaches for his troubles.
Yeah, I was scratching my head a little bit. I was wondering, why didn't MeomaikA, commit to dealing some economic damage? But then I realized it's because he was droning. He knew that he didn't need to reinforce that army. He just needed to continue to apply pressure and continue to effectively contain RiSky to only 2 mining bases while he gets his advantage back home.
And the thing is that MeomaikA, he threw down the Hydra behind this. He's going to be getting into Roach Hydra, and RiSky can only make mutas. He has not remade his Roach Warren. I don't know if this is a mistake or if this is intentional, but without that Roach Warren, he's stuck on nothing but mutas, and this is not what he wanted to do. Like, there's a reason why he only got 5 at the start of the game, because it was only to get map control, and that is it. And now his hand has been forced.
Yeah, now he's reestablishing his Roach Warren. Now that he knows he's safe and he has enough resources to get it. And yeah, once again, just making use of mutas to harass across the map.
I mean, sure, they can harass all they want, mate, but there are spores now, and this Roach Hydra army, there is nothing to stop him right now. We are waiting a little bit longer here for the Roach Warren to finish up. There is a massive window where MeomaikA can go for a kill move. For the time being, he is staying at home, though. The mutas are at least providing RiSky that.
Yeah, MeomaikA is going to be waiting for his upgrades to finish up here. +2 range is going to be a huge advantage. More importantly, Grew Spines will put him ahead both against the Mutalisk and the Roaches as well.
Yeah, exactly. And MeomaikA, I don't think he recognizes how far ahead he is. Maybe he does. Maybe he wants to get further ahead by taking a 4th base. But these mutas are actually doing a lot here for RiSky. They're just keeping MeomaikA at home, taking out a couple of drones, taking out a couple of gas geysers. They're just buying RiSky time to rebuild his army and actually get roaches.
And just like that, he's resaturated his 3rd base. Like you were saying, he's getting more and more roaches. And he's slowly getting back up in terms of the army supply. He's not that close to maxing out, but he's getting there steadily.
Yeah, he's closing the gap, but I guess MeomaikA was just waiting a little bit longer for his upgrades. There we go. Groove Spines finally finishes up, so we do have Hydra range, and now it is go time. MeomaikA essentially 200 supply. He's going across the map.
Yeah, at least with his roaches. A little bit concerned about the Mutalisk, and so he splits off the Hydras to try to deal with those. MeomaikA has neither Hydras nor Ravagers in this fight, but what he does have is way more roaches.
Exactly. The overwhelming numbers are going to be too much here. The Hydras finally joined the fray. We do have a couple of spines from earlier in the game, and the Biles are forcing some micro coming out from MeomaikA, but it's just a numbers game, mate. There's just too much on the ground.
And MeomaikA has effectively twice the army supply of RiSky. He has double the upgrades as well. 3rd base is finally forfeited along with just about every drone that was fighting over there for RiSky. GG is called, and MeomaikA will take that series 2-0.